Have you ever felt that no matter how much you do, your real value is never truly perceived? It's a quiet ache, a sense of being a ghost in your own career. You bring your expertise, your dedication, your very soul to the table, yet you watch as opportunities flow to others, to those who seem to navigate the world with an effortless charm you can't quite grasp. You follow the rules, you work diligently, and yet you remain stuck, feeling like an invisible force whose contributions are taken for granted, whose potential is perpetually overlooked. This feeling is a heavy cloak, and you have worn it for far too long. You know you are meant for more, that your worth is immense, but it remains a secret that only you seem to be in on, a silent scream into the void of professional indifference. But what if I told you that the key to your prosperity, the very switch that illuminates your presence and magnetizes success to you, is not found in working harder? What if the answer isn't in acquiring another skill, another certification, or in perfecting your pitch? What if I told you that the entire paradigm of striving and pushing is flawed, and that the true mechanism for wealth and recognition lies in a place you've been taught to ignore? Imagine a universal law, as real and as constant as gravity, that governs the flow of opportunities. This law is not activated by what you do for yourself, but by what you unlock in others. The power to transform your reality is dormant within you, waiting for you to simply shift your focus from being seen to truly seeing. In the next few minutes, I will deliver to you a millennial code, validated by the greatest titans of industry, that transforms invisibility into a magnet for opportunities and wealth. This is not a fleeting trick or a superficial networking tactic. This is a profound spiritual and psychological principle, a divine connection that has been encoded in sacred texts and proven in the boardrooms of the most influential figures in history. We will not merely discuss this principle, we will decode it piece by piece, so that you can begin to apply it today. Prepare to leave behind the frustrating world of unappreciated effort and step into a new reality where your value is not only seen, but sought after. The secret to being recognized is about to be revealed. Imagine the sensation, that familiar, heavy feeling in the pit of your stomach as you sit at your desk. You are competent. You are a professional. You deliver results consistently and without fanfare. Yet you feel like a ghost haunting the halls of your own career, a functional, replaceable part in a vast, indifferent machine. Your successes are absorbed into the collective. Your extra efforts are expected, and your unique genius is filed away as mere competence. It is the quiet agony of knowing you are capable of so much more, of seeing the landscape of your potential, yet being confined to a small, predefined space. This isn't a dramatic failure. It is a slow, grinding erosion of the spirit, the daily experience of being profoundly and completely overlooked. It's the silent knowledge that your absence would be a temporary inconvenience, not a deeply felt loss. Do you know the specific exhaustion that comes from attending a networking event? You put on the professional smile, you arm yourself with business cards, you prepare your answers to the inevitable, "So, what do you do?" But beneath the surface, you feel the profound emptiness of it all. The interactions feel transactional, a shallow dance of feigned interest where each person is scanning the room for someone more important. You walk away with a pocket full of cards and a soul that feels emptier than before, acutely aware of the falseness of the connections you just tried to make. It's a marketplace of masks, and you are tired of wearing yours, tired of pretending that these hollow exchanges will ever lead to genuine opportunity or recognition. And what about the late nights, the weekends sacrificed, the projects you poured your heart into, believing that this time this effort would be the one that finally makes them see? You see the finish line, you deliver exceptional work, and for a fleeting moment, you feel a flicker of pride. But then the moment passes. The report is filed, the project is absorbed, and the recognition you craved never materializes. The credit is shared until it becomes meaningless, or worse, it is claimed by someone more visible, more vocal. It is a unique kind of pain to consistently plant seeds of excellence, only to watch others harvest the fruit, leaving you with nothing but tired hands and the soil of your next thankless task. Consider the meeting room. You've done the research. You have the solution, a clear and insightful path forward. You wait for the right moment to speak, to offer your contribution. But when you do, your words seem to hang in the air for a moment before vanishing, met with polite nods before the conversation moves on, completely bypassing your input. Then, 10 minutes later, someone with more political capital voices a diluted version of your very same idea, and suddenly it is hailed as brilliant. You sit there, silenced not by force but by a collective deafness to your voice. This is the ultimate invalidation, not rejection, but a complete lack of reception, as if your words themselves have no weight or substance. This constant effort to prove your worth is a form of emotional labor that is rarely discussed. It is the exhausting, relentless task of managing perceptions, of carefully choosing your words, of ensuring your work is not just done, but seen. It is a performance, a daily battle against the tide of invisibility. This isn't just about professional ambition, it is a fight for your very identity, to have the person you are on the inside be reflected and acknowledged by the outside world. And it is draining your life force, leaving you with little energy for the joy and creativity that once drove you. The passion you once had is slowly being replaced by the sheer fatigue of the fight. You look around and you see the patterns. You see careers built not on a foundation of substance, but on a scaffolding of strategic lunches, of perfectly timed compliments, of knowing the right person. It's a painful puzzle to behold, watching individuals with half your skill and a fraction of your dedication ascend the ladder with ease. It makes you question everything you were taught about hard work and merit. This isn't just jealousy, it's a deep, philosophical frustration. It feels as though the world is operating on a set of secret rules that no one ever shared with you, a system where the currency isn't genuine value, but the appearance of it. This journey, you've realized, is a lonely one. Who can you confess this to? Admitting you feel invisible sounds like a complaint, like a weakness, so you carry it alone. You are surrounded by colleagues, by family, by friends, but this specific struggle remains locked inside you. The frustration of being undervalued is a silent burden, one that isolates you in a crowd. You become the sole witness to your own worth, the only one who truly knows the depth of your efforts and the brilliance of your hidden potential. This solitude is a heavy companion on a long road, and it makes the destination seem ever more distant and perhaps even illusory. And in the quietest hours, a dangerous whisper begins to emerge from the shadows of your mind. It's a thought you try to push away, but it persists. What if they are right? What if I'm not as valuable as I think I am? This is the final, most devastating stage of this battle, when the external world's failure to recognize your value begins to infect your own self-perception. You start to doubt your own talents, to question your own judgment, to shrink yourself to fit the small box they have placed you in. This is the true crisis point, where the lack of external validation threatens to extinguish your internal fire, and you risk forgetting the magnificent truth of who you really are. Now, I want you to understand that the pain you have been feeling is not a personal failure. It is the symptom of a deeply flawed philosophy you have been taught to accept as reality. We have been conditioned by a culture of scarcity, a mindset that whispers every man for himself. This worldview tells you that success is a zero-sum game, a finite pie where for you to get a slice, someone else must get less. It turns colleagues into competitors and networking into a battlefield. The enemy, therefore, is not a person. It is not your boss nor your more successful peer. The true enemy is this insidious belief system, this transactional lens through which you have been taught to view human connection. It is this very programming that creates the distrust, the isolation, and the stagnation you are experiencing. This transactional approach is a subtle poison to the soul and a guaranteed path to long-term failure. It teaches you to enter every room and every conversation with a hidden agenda, constantly calculating, what can I get from this person? How can they serve my goals? This mindset makes genuine connection impossible. It builds alliances as fragile as glass because they are based on utility, not trust. The moment you are no longer useful, the connection dissolves. This is why the world of networking feels so hollow. It is a house built on sand, and it is the direct cause of the professional loneliness you feel. You cannot build a fortress of prosperity on a foundation of using people, for such a structure will inevitably collapse under its own cynical weight. Therefore, the path to a different reality begins not with a new action, but with a new question. The entire architecture of frustration and invisibility is built upon the question, what can I gain? We must let that question die. We must replace it with a question that holds creative power, a question that aligns us with the universal law of reciprocity. The new question is this: what can I offer? How can I contribute genuine value to this person right here, right now, with no thought of return? This is the shift from the path of effort to the path of alignment. It is the moment you stop trying to extract value from the world and begin to create it. And in doing so, you begin to resonate with a different frequency, a frequency of abundance, trust, and divine connection. This new question is not new at all. It is, in fact, an echo of a power that has been encoded into the very fabric of human spirituality for millennia. It has been hidden in plain sight, presented so often as simple moral advice that its true power has been forgotten. I speak of the law articulated in the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 12. So in everything do to others what you would have them do to you. For centuries, we have interpreted this as a passive suggestion for kindness. But this is a profound misunderstanding. This is not a suggestion. It is a command. It is a description of a universal law, as real and as immutable as the law of gravity. It is a formula for creation, a piece of divine physics that governs the flow of good in the universe. It is the master key to unlocking human cooperation and divine reciprocity. Nearly 2,000 years later, a man named Napoleon Hill embarked on a monumental quest, commissioned by the wealthiest man of his time, to uncover the science of personal achievement. For over 2 decades, he dissected the lives, habits, and philosophies of the most powerful and successful titans of industry. He was not looking for moral lessons. He was searching for a practical, replicable formula for prosperity. And after analyzing these hundreds of wealthy minds, he arrived at a startling, undeniable conclusion that echoed the ancient wisdom perfectly. Hill discovered, through empirical observation, that no individual in his study had achieved great and lasting wealth without first providing immense value to the lives of others. He found that the universe, as a rule, does not reward the takers. It rewards the creators of value. Here, then, is the point where the sacred and the scientific converge. The golden rule is not merely a spiritual ideal. It is the blueprint for the very principle of human value that Napoleon Hill identified as the cornerstone of all great fortunes. He had, in effect, discovered the practical application of this divine law in the material world. The ability to enrich others, to make them feel seen, heard, and genuinely important is not an act of charity on the path to success. It is the path. This is the great secret. Prosperity is not something you chase. It is something that is returned to you as a consequence of the value you first give away. This is the moment your perspective must shift forever. You are about to learn how to operate this universal law consciously. The first and most crucial application of this law is not an action you take, but a decision you make. It is a fundamental shift of your internal mental lens. For your entire life, you have been programmed to ask a question born of scarcity. How can I be seen? How can I get noticed? How can I prove my value to them? This question places you in a position of weakness, as a supplicant begging for scraps of validation from an indifferent world. The law requires you to abandon this question forever. You must replace it with a question born of power, service, and abundance. How can I see them? How can I notice the value in this person before me? How can I make them feel truly important? This is the foundational choice from which all prosperity flows. Let us decode the secret behind this mental shift. The question, how can I be noticed, vibrates at the frequency of lack. It broadcasts a signal of neediness to the universe, and this energy repels genuine opportunity. It makes you tense, calculating and self-absorbed, qualities that people subconsciously sense and recoil from. The new question, how can I notice the value in another, changes your entire energetic signature. It transforms you from a taker into a giver, from a supplicant into a source. You are no longer asking the world for something. You are offering the world a gift, the gift of recognition. This signal broadcasts confidence, security, and genuine power, magnetizing people and opportunities to you effortlessly. Think of your mental state as a radio tower, constantly broadcasting a specific frequency. When you are consumed with your own need for validation, you are broadcasting static, a jarring noise that other stations instinctively tune out. Opportunities, which are always flowing through the airwaves, cannot find you amidst that noise. But the moment you shift your lens, the moment you decide to become a broadcaster of value for others, you change your frequency. You begin to transmit a clear, harmonious signal of appreciation and genuine interest. Suddenly, the universe can tune into you. Opportunities, collaborations, and moments of divine connection are drawn to your signal, not because you are chasing them, but because you are finally broadcasting on the frequency where they exist. Let us use a powerful metaphor. Your mind is an ecosystem. When your primary question is, what's in it for me, you create a barren, desert landscape. Your interactions are like drilling for oil. You seek only to extract, and in the process, you poison the ground around you. Nothing can grow in an environment of selfishness and transactional energy. Distrust and scarcity are the only things that can survive in such a land. But when you adopt the new question, you transform your internal world into a lush, fertile garden. Every time you choose to see and acknowledge the value in another person, you are watering that garden. You are enriching the soil, creating an environment where anything can grow. Deepening this metaphor, recognize that when you water this internal garden, you are not just helping one person to grow, you are cultivating the entire environment that sustains you. Each act of genuine recognition is like a drop of rain that enriches the soil, strengthens the roots, and contributes to the health of the whole ecosystem. The opportunities that come to you are the fruits that grow from this fertile ground. You cannot have a harvest from a desert. You must first become a diligent, selfless gardener of human value. Your focus must shift entirely from harvesting the fruit to tending the soil, knowing that a healthy garden will inevitably produce an abundant harvest. Your own prosperity becomes a natural byproduct of the vibrant world you have created. Therefore, your first task is not to change what you do, but to change how you see. This is a silent, internal vow. I want you to make a conscious decision right now that for the rest of the day, for every single person you interact with, be it in an email, on the phone, or face-to-face, you will hold one primary intention: to find something of genuine value in them and acknowledge it, even if only to yourself. You will consciously put aside the question of what you can get, and you will focus entirely on what you can give in the form of recognition. This is the first turning of the key. Here is a practical mental exercise to solidify this. Before you enter a meeting, before you make a phone call, before you even reply to an email, take a single deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment and bring to mind the person you are about to interact with. In your mind's eye, see them not as a means to an end, but as a soul with their own hopes, fears, and hidden genius. Silently ask the question, how can I serve the value that is within them? This simple 5-second ritual prepaves the interaction with an energy of respect and generosity. It tunes your mind to the frequency of genuine connection before a single word is spoken. When you practice this, you fundamentally alter the dynamic of the encounter. You are no longer entering as a subordinate seeking approval or as a salesperson seeking a commission. You enter as a peer, a collaborator, an equal who is there to create value, not just to extract it. People feel this energetic shift immediately. Their defenses lower, their minds open, and their subconscious instinct to trust you is activated. They may not know why they feel so comfortable with you, but it is because you have honored them on an energetic level before the interaction even began. You have offered them the gift of being truly seen, and that is a gift that is rarely given in this world. A powerful side effect of this practice is the sharpening of your own perception. When your mind is obsessed with your own performance and how you are being perceived, you are effectively blind and deaf to the subtleties of the world around you. You miss the nuances, the unspoken needs, the windows of opportunity that are constantly opening and closing. But when you shift your focus to genuinely noticing others, your senses awaken. You begin to see the hidden talents in your team, the unspoken challenges of a client, the unique opportunities for collaboration that were completely invisible to you before. You become a master of your environment because you have finally stopped staring at your own reflection. So, the first pillar of this ancient code is the reversal of your sight. You must turn the spotlight of your attention away from yourself and shine it brilliantly upon others. This is not about self-deprecation, it is about self-expansion. You become larger, more powerful, and more influential, not by puffing yourself up, but by becoming a master at recognizing and elevating the greatness that already exists in every single person you meet. This internal shift is the seed of all external success. Now let us move to the second pillar, how to plant this seed through your actions, a practice we call genuine interest. The second pillar is where this internal shift becomes manifest in the world. This is the practice of genuine interest, the physical expression of the golden rule. It is about translating your new mental lens into concrete behaviors that confer value and importance upon others. This is more than just being polite. Politeness is a social script. Genuine interest is a spiritual offering. It is the conscious decision to give your most valuable asset, your focused attention, to another human being with no expectation of immediate return. It is in this practice that you begin to actively sow the seeds of reciprocity, building a foundation of trust that will become the bedrock of your future prosperity. It is critical to decode the difference between empty flattery and genuine interest. Flattery is a counterfeit currency. It is a tool of the ego, a calculated and insincere compliment designed to manipulate someone into giving you what you want. People, especially successful people, can sense the transactional nature of flattery from a mile away, and it breeds immediate distrust. Genuine interest, however, is a gift. It is born of curiosity and empathy. It seeks not to gain, but to understand. It is the simple, powerful act of making another person feel that their story matters, that their challenges are real, and that their passions are fascinating. This is the divine connection in practice. One of the most powerful and yet most simple ways to practice this is through active listening. In our world of constant distraction, with notifications and deadlines vying for our attention, the person who can offer the gift of being fully present is the rarest and most valuable person in the room. When you are in a conversation, resist the urge to formulate your reply while the other person is speaking. Instead, listen with the sole intention of understanding. Listen to the words they say and the emotions behind them. The simple act of truly hearing someone, of letting them feel seen and heard without judgment, is a profound way to make them feel important. Here is your next task. In your very next conversation, make it your secret mission to not talk about yourself unless you are asked a direct question. Your entire focus will be on the other person. Listen intently to what they say, and then ask a thoughtful follow-up question that proves you are listening. A question that invites them to go deeper, to share more of their world. For those few minutes, make them the absolute center of your universe. Do not offer advice unless asked. Do not interrupt with your own story. Simply offer the clean, pure, and holy space of your undivided attention. You will be astonished at the connection this creates. Beyond listening, the practice of genuine interest lives in the details. It is the simple act of remembering someone's name and using it. A person's name is to them the sweetest sound in any language, and using it communicates recognition and respect. It is remembering a small detail they shared with you weeks ago, the name of their child, a hobby they are passionate about, a challenge they were facing, and asking about it. These small gestures are not small at all. They send a powerful message. You are not just a transaction to me. You are an individual, and you have made an impression on my mind. This is how you communicate genuine value silently. We can use the metaphor of a bank account of trust and goodwill. Every interaction you have is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Transactional networking, asking for favors, and focusing on your own needs are withdrawals. They deplete trust. But every act of genuine interest is a deposit. Remembering a name is a deposit. Listening actively is a deposit. Asking about someone's passions is a deposit. You must become obsessed with making these deposits, with building a vast reserve of relational capital. Focus solely on giving, on filling these accounts for others, without ever thinking about when or how you will make a withdrawal. The law of the universe ensures that the returns will come. This bank account of trust operates on principles of emotional compounding. A single small deposit of genuine kindness can grow exponentially over time into a massive asset of loyalty. When you make someone feel truly valued, you are not just creating a positive memory, you are creating an ally. You are forging an emotional bond that transcends the professional. This person will think of you favorably. They will speak of you positively when you are not in the room, and they will actively look for ways to help you because you first made a deposit of genuine human connection with them. This is how you build an army of supporters, one deposit at a time. Now for the ultimate test of this mentality. The true master of this law does not apply it selectively. It is easy to show interest in a powerful CEO or a potential client, but can you give that same level of focused attention and genuine respect to the person who serves you coffee, to the janitor in your building, to the customer service representative on the phone? This is the final test. When you treat every single person you meet as the most important person in the world in that moment, you have truly internalized the principle. Your character has become one of genuine value. This universal application is not just a moral exercise, it is a spiritual and energetic necessity. The universal law of reciprocity does not check a person's title or net worth before it operates. It responds only to the energy you project, to the value you consistently emit. If you are only on for important people, you are still operating from a transactional mindset, and your signal to the universe is mixed and weak. But when you make giving value your default state of being, your broadcast becomes clear, powerful, and consistent. You become a beacon of positive energy, and the universe has no choice but to reflect that power back to you from all directions. So the second pillar is the active, consistent practice of planting seeds of genuine value in the soil of every human interaction. It is the external proof of your internal shift. You have changed your lens, and now you are acting upon that new vision. You are making daily deposits into your bank account of trust and goodwill. You are becoming a source of recognition in a world starved for it. Now we must turn to the final and most magnificent pillar, understanding and allowing the inevitable harvest that will result from your efforts. This brings us to the third pillar, receiving the reciprocity as an inevitable harvest. This is where you learn to trust the law. There is an ancient spiritual axiom that states, the sowing is free, but the harvest is obligatory. This means that you have the free will to choose what seeds you plant, seeds of indifference and transaction, or seeds of genuine value and recognition. But once the seeds are sown, you are no longer in control of the outcome. The harvest is a consequence, a universal law that cannot be broken. What you put out into the world must and will return to you. This is not a vague, mystical hope. This is a law of energetic return. The universe is a great, resonating echo chamber. It does not judge, it only reflects. The importance you see and create in others is the very importance that will be reflected back upon your own life. The opportunities you help create for others will return to you multiplied. When you operate from a place of genuine value, you are aligning yourself with the creative force of the universe itself, which is always seeking to expand and grow. Your personal prosperity becomes a simple, natural consequence of being in harmony with this universal flow of giving and receiving. This law is the spiritual foundation for what Napoleon Hill called the mastermind principle. A mastermind is more than just a group of people brainstorming. It is a harmonious alliance of minds, a synergistic energy created when two or more people are united in a spirit of trust and a shared purpose. You cannot force your way into such an alliance. You cannot buy it. It must be earned, and it is earned by consistently applying the principles we have discussed. A true mastermind forms organically around a person who has mastered the art of making others feel important. When you genuinely invest your energy in elevating others, you're not merely making contacts, you are creating your own personal mastermind alliance, often without even realizing it. The people whose lives you touch with your genuine interest become enrolled in your success. They become stakeholders in your journey. They want you to succeed, because your success validates the value you saw in them. They celebrate your victories as their own. This is a force of unimaginable power, a collective will that is focused on your upliftment, all because you first focused on theirs. This is how you build that army of supporters we spoke of. This is how doors begin to open for you as if by magic. Someone you showed kindness to 5 years ago is now in a position to recommend you for your dream project. A colleague you actively listened to in a meeting will defend your name and your reputation when you are not there. A person who simply observed you treating a waiter with profound respect will remember your character and bring you an unexpected opportunity. You begin to build a reputation not just for competence, but for character, and character is the most powerful form of currency in the world. Let us return to our metaphor of the ecosystem one last time. The harvest does not always come from the exact spot where you planted the seed. You may water a plant on the north side of your garden, and a fruit may appear on a tree on the south side. The entire ecosystem is interconnected. You must not get trapped in transactional thinking, expecting a direct return from the person you helped. Your job is to tend to the entire garden of your life, give value freely to everyone, and trust that the health of the entire system will provide the harvest. The universe will orchestrate the return in the perfect way and at the perfect time. The help you receive will come from both expected and unexpected sources. Of course, the people you directly support will often be the first to offer their help in return, but the true magic of this law is in the unexpected. It is the email from a stranger, the opportunity that seems to fall from the sky, the chance encounter that changes the trajectory of your career. These are not accidents. They are the universe arranging circumstances to deliver the harvest you are owed. They are the logical and inevitable result of the seeds of genuine value you have been planting all along. Therefore, the final mental action you must take is to cultivate absolute faith in the harvest. This means you must release all attachment to the outcome of your giving. You must give for the pure joy of giving. You must recognize value in others simply because it is the right thing to do. The moment you start keeping a hidden ledger in your mind, tracking who owes you what, you have reverted to the transactional mindset and you have contaminated the entire process. The mental action is to sow the seed, and then let it go completely, with full faith that the laws of the universe are perfect and just. This faith is the catalyst that makes the law work at its highest potential. It purifies your intention. When you act from a place of pure service with no thought for the reward, you are operating at the highest possible frequency. This is the state from which miracles are born. It is a state of profound trust in the divine connection between all things. You are no longer trying to manipulate the world to get what you want. You are acting as a conduit for the universe's own creative energy, and as a result, the universe provides for you abundantly. So the 3 pillars of this code are now clear. It begins with the internal, conscious decision to shift your mental lens from getting to giving recognition. It is then expressed through the external, consistent practice of showing genuine interest in every person you meet. And it culminates in the peaceful, powerful state of faith, where you trust in the universal law of reciprocity to deliver the inevitable and abundant harvest. This is not a strategy. This is a new way of being. This is the complete system for transforming invisibility into a magnet for true and lasting prosperity. I want you to take a moment and visualize this new reality. Picture yourself moving through your days, not with the frantic energy of a hunter, but with the calm, centered gravity of a sun. The chase is over. You no longer pursue success because you have become a magnet for it. Opportunities do not come to you because you networked tirelessly for them, but because you have become a person of such genuine value that success actively seeks you out. The desperation to be seen has been replaced by a quiet confidence that radiates from you, a silent signal that you are a creator of value, a builder of people, a source of trust in a cynical world. This is your future, not as a distant dream, but as a present reality, waiting for your decision. The days of pushing against locked doors are over. The exhausting effort of trying to prove your worth, of fighting for a seat at the table, will become a distant memory. In this new reality, doors will open for you, not because of brute force, but because of the immense trust you inspire. The people you have elevated, the allies you have created through your genuine interest, will be the ones who open these doors for you, eagerly and with joy. Your influence will not come from your title or your authority, but from the deep reserves of goodwill you have built in the hearts of others. Success will no longer feel like a battle, it will feel like a homecoming. Imagine the profound inner peace that comes from this way of being. The loneliness you once felt, the sting of being invisible, will dissolve into a deep and abiding sense of connection. You will know with unshakable certainty that you are a vital part of a thriving ecosystem of support that you helped to create. Your purpose will become crystal clear, to be a source of upliftment and recognition in the world. And in fulfilling this purpose, you will find that your own need for recognition simply vanishes, replaced by the quiet joy of seeing others shine. You will no longer feel like a replaceable part, but like the very heart of a powerful and loving network. This is the true definition of wealth. It is not a number in a bank account, though financial abundance is a natural consequence of this law. True, lasting prosperity is the richness of your relationships. It is the trust you command, the loyalty you inspire, the genuine goodwill that flows towards you from all directions. It is a wealth that cannot be lost in a market crash, a wealth that compounds with every act of kindness, a wealth that nourishes your soul. This is the harvest you are preparing to reap, a life not just of success but of deep, resonant and unshakable significance. Your life itself becomes your greatest asset. So, how do you take the first step on this magnificent path today? Your journey of transformation does not begin with a grand gesture. It does not require you to quit your job or overhaul your life overnight. The first step is small, it is simple, and it is profoundly powerful. Forget for a moment your professional to-do list. Put aside the emails, the spreadsheets, and the strategic plans. The universal law does not ask for your busyness. It asks for your presence. Your first assignment is not a task for your career. It is a task for your soul. Your task for today is not to send a resume or to make a sales call. It is to find one person in your life, your partner, a colleague, the barista at the coffee shop, and for 5 minutes dedicate all of your attention to making them feel like the most important person in the world. Listen to them without distraction. Ask them about their world with genuine curiosity. See the light of their unique genius and hold that vision for them. Do this with no agenda. Seek nothing in return. This is not a transaction. This is an activation. It is a conscious choice to operate this divine law just once. In those 5 minutes, you will plant your first conscious seed in the fertile soil of this new reality. Pay attention to how it feels. Notice the shift, not just in them, but in you. You will feel the quiet power that comes from giving a pure and unconditional gift of your presence. This single, simple act is the entire code in miniature. It is the beginning of your practice, the first deposit in your bank of trust, the first drop of rain in what will become a flourishing garden. This is how the transformation begins, not with a roar, but with a quiet and sacred moment of genuine human connection. This is your path forward, a path away from the loneliness of competition and into the joy of contribution. A path where your own value is no longer a question to be answered, but a reality to be expressed through the value you see in everyone you meet. Begin today. Plant that first seed of value and prepare yourself for the inevitable harvest of your own prosperity. Let this be the truth that guides you from this moment on, the mantra that recalibrates your soul and redefines your destiny. Remember this, always. Your value grows when you see the value in others.